Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel Mwalimu Karithi. In this lesson, I wanted us to look at the classification of oral literature. There are three classifications of oral literature. One, oral narratives, where we have different forms of oral narratives like legends, myths, ideological stories, dilemma stories, trickster stories, fables, ogre stories. Another class, number two, is short fixed forms. Short fixed forms where we have proverbs, riddles, and tongue twisters. Classification number three is we have songs, and you know different types of songs like war songs, political songs, circumcision songs, and wedding songs. So in this lesson now, I want us to deal with forms of oral narratives. Forms of oral narratives. Remember, we said oral narratives is a class of oral literature. Let us look at a number of forms of oral narratives. Oral narratives are classified according to their functions. For example, number one, legends. Legends are hero stories. Legends are hero stories. And legends are stories, these are stories that talk about historical characters with the superhuman abilities or powers. The characters contribute positively to the well-being of their communities and leave behind remarkable achievements. For example, we have the story of Luanda Magere among the Luo community. So Luanda Magere is an example of a legend. That is a legend. Form number two, we have myths. Myths. So myths are imaginary stories that explain the origin of different phenomenon that surrounds human beings. For example, myths explain about the origin of life, origin of death, work, religion, power of spirits, and many other phenomena. Number three, we have ideological stories. Ideological stories are also called explanatory stories, or why stories. These are stories that try to explain why certain things are the way they are. For example, why the leopard has spotted body, why the hen and the hook are enemies, why the hyena limps. Those are examples of ideological stories. Number four, we have dilemma stories. Dilemma stories. Dilemma stories are stories which leave the audience in suspense at the end. So dilemma stories leave the audience in suspense at the end. Such stories present the audience with options or alternatives to make. And of course, none of the choices are usually easy to make. None of the choices are easy to make. Number five, we have trickster stories. Trickster stories are stories which one character pretends to be in friendship with others. The smaller animal cunningly tricks the bigger ones with the purpose of exploiting the friendship for selfish gains. For example, the hare tricks the elephant. The hare tricks the hyena. So in this case, the clever animal is called the trickster, while the foolish one is called the dupe. Note this. The clever animal is called the trickster, while the foolish one is called the dupe. Number 6, we have fables. We have fables. So fables, these are stories in which all the characters are animals. Fables is a story where all the animals or the characters, are animals. And finally, we have ogre stories. Ogre stories. Ogre stories are also called monster stories. And these are stories with imaginary creatures that are very large, are very ugly, and are very, very frightening. These creatures resemble human beings but with superhuman qualities. For example, ogres may have 4 eyes or 1 eye and can swallow and vomit the whole village. Thank you. This lesson was purely on forms of oral narratives. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share.